If Nebraska wins on Saturday against Michigan, are we talking about the playoff?
You are Locked On Nebraska, your daily Nebraska Cornhuskers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Good morning, and thanks for making Locked On Nebraska your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And today's episode is brought to you by Mazda. Like our players, we sweat every detail because when you make every move count, pulling off the unexpected is only the beginning. Stay tuned later for highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward. Mazda, moved and be moved.
All right, welcome in. Friday before Michigan. Mitch Sherman from The Athletic with you, Connor Happer of 1620 The Zone. We have arrived on the eve of the biggest game of September for the Nebraska football team. Biggest game in September in quite some time for this program, at least if it wins.
That's true. That's true.
Lots of questions. We got lots of questions today. We're going to get right to it so we can get to as many of these or hopefully all of these in this episode. So let's start with Dustin in Flippin, Arkansas. He tells us, yes, that is an actual town. Flippin, Arkansas. Dustin writes in, if Nebraska beats Michigan 10-2 starts to look more likely. With that said, let's play Would You Rather. As a fan or media member, would you rather go to a hostile away stadium, possibly with tough travel and weather for the opening playoff round, or go to Orlando for a week's vacation and catch the Citrus Bowl with 50,000 Husker fans?
What are we talking about?
This is a ridiculous question.
Yeah. I thought you guys were red-blooded Americans. I thought you guys were Nebraskans. Come on.
I put this at the top because of how ridiculous this question is. You would rather go to a playoff. Yes.
Send me to Alaska. I don't care. Give me an important football game over a non-important football game 100% of the time.
I know that the vacation component of a postseason trip, which is like bred into the fabric of Nebraska football, would be better if you went to Orlando for a week for a game that didn't matter. But that's not how this works. You want to go to the playoff. This is like the NIT or the Crown versus the NCAA tournament discussion. So yes, give me the playoff. I do not care about the tough travel. It's in the United States. We can get there. The weather, the worse it is in December, the better. This is playoff football.
Yeah.
All right.
Important football games over non-important football games is pretty easy.
I went to the playoff game in Columbus, Ohio last year. It was awesome. That's what I would like to see Nebraska get a taste of and its fans get a taste of. He follows this with, what are the chances that Nebraska at 10-2 with its best win against a 7-5 Michigan team could host a first round game? And I would say slim.
Yeah,
you're not going to get in that 5 to you have to be 5-8 in the final poll to host a first round game. That's not happening without a win against the likes of Penn State or USC, which is who Dustin would have Nebraska losing to in this scenario.
If Nebraska is at 10-2 and their best win is against a Michigan team who only goes 7-5, it's very possible they don't make the playoff at all. So yeah,
that's definitely possible. Yeah. All right. Gigi in Las Cruces. She says, this is a theme today in the mailbag. Maybe we just do all of these at the same time. With our strong defensive backfield and Michigan's mobile quarterback, Bryce Underwood, will the Black Shirts use a designated player to spy the QB and limit his scramble runs or play standard schemes? Waving back.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, they're going to throw a lot of different stuff on him. I think first things first, you just throw a bunch of pressure at him and see how Michigan is able to pick it up and how he's able to specifically handle it. You don't have to sack him every time, but you do have to get him off his spot a little bit. And when Nebraska does have the opportunity to get him down in the backfield, you got to get him. Will they spy? I mean, of course, like they're going to do a little. You don't have to spy on every play. I mean,
right. That's the thing. I think sometimes people get carried away with the whole spy thing. It's not every play. It's a component. It's a part of what Nebraska's game plan will be.
Yeah, they're going to throw a lot of different stuff at him, and And to that point, they're going to take some chances, I believe, defensively. So
I have to.
I think they'll probably get gashed for a big play or two. You just hope that they're not backbreaking.
From Patrick in Pilger, Nebraska, each week I listen to as many podcasts from the opponent's side as I can. It's always entertaining and informative. I wonder how the Houston Christian podcasts were last week. That's just me interjecting. The common theme this week from Michigan is how confident they are in Underwood. You'd think the Heisman is chilling at his crib right now.
Nice.
What do you think we should expect from the true freshman? What's the key to him having a rough afternoon?
Yeah, I mean, I think I think you have to try and make him one-dimensional. He last week he really showed the ability to run the football, and I think that is the side that they'll probably lean into a little bit. Like if the going gets tough for them, it's what they sort of refused to do when they played against Oklahoma when the offense was stuck in the bud, like confoundingly. So I think that's a lesson that was learned from that tough game on the road in that environment. So I just think disruption, like that's the key.
Yep. Throw a lot at him. We continue with this theme from Greg in Broken Arrow. Hi, fellas. Should we be concerned that John Butler spent most of his career in the NFL where QBs other than the likes of Lamar Jackson do not run? Brendan Sorsby ran for a lot against Nebraska. Does Butler know how to stop that?
Wow. People are really, we're very concerned.
There's a lot of worry about this. Yes.
Yes. Okay. That's the theme of the first segment here. We are concerned about Bryce Underwood doing
we can just throw in Justin, who has the next question.
Yeah.
Over the past 10 to 20 years, Nebraska hasn't been great at stopping athletic quarterbacks. Simple question. Why?
Because it's hard. Because ask any defensive coordinator in the entire world. They're like, I don't want to really see this. So yeah, it's difficult to do so. I will also say Underwood, if you could get him, if Nebraska's defensive backfield can cover and make those throws really difficult for him as well. There's a difference between a quarterback who could beat you with his arms and his legs, and there's a different, and between that and a quarterback whose primary goal when he goes out there is running. And I think we'll see a little bit of both of that on Saturday. I think we'll see Michigan kind of use him as a running back. Think like Adrian Martinez and how he was used at the point in his career when he really wasn't able to throw the football all that well. So that's different than the quarterback that could beat you in both directions. He's a really, really talented player, but it's early in his career. And so, Nebraska has to be buttoned up on all the other places.
Nebraska's going to have to put an extra player or two in the box at times and hope and believe and have faith that its DBs can work well in man-to-man coverage. And that's going to leave them open to some stuff down the field. But that's a chess match that John Butler, I think, is willing to play. And that's how you stop a mobile quarterback, is you play man-to-man on the back end. And if you can make that work, then it's a lot easier. But sometimes a great athlete is just going to make defenders miss, and you can do everything right, and still he's going to get some yards. Justin has a second part to his question. Do head coaches matter? Matt Rhule kind of touched on this in one of his press conferences this week. If the head coach is suspended, does that really matter? So Rhule was asked how that would go for him if he was suspended, which I was surprised that he even entertained. And he's like, well, Susan would run the staff meeting and, they matter. Look, the head coach brings a lot to game day and to the game prep. If the head coach is worth the salary they're paying him, if he's worth anything at all, it's important to have a head coach. He's not, in the case of Matt Rhule, he's not out there calling the plays, offense or defense. He's making decisions on fourth down. He's making decisions, in important moments in game management and that kind of stuff. But this isn't easy. Head coaches do matter.
It makes their life a little bit. I mean, when you're on the road, it's a bit of a skeleton crew anyway. You bring the smallest amount of people that you have to bring, and you try and work with it. So losing the head of the snake in that regard is difficult, and other people have to step up. So I think it matters a lot from a logistical standpoint. It's it's a fair question, because I think it's one of the biggest questions going into this game. Like, what actual functional impact does him not being there, Sharon Moore not being there, actually have on this game? And to that end, we don't know. Is it just end up being a motivational factor for both teams? Like Michigan wants to do it for their guy who's not here, and Nebraska thinks they're disrespected because he chose to not be here. That could be it, or it could have an actual tangible functional impact.
Right. The motivational part could go either way. Very intriguing to see which one comes out on top there, because both teams will try to use that to their advantage. Let's finish up the first segment with two questions. We'll read these together from the same part of the country, which, by the way, is the part of the country that's bringing Nebraska's opponent to Lincoln today. From Scott in Windsor, Ontario, regular emailer, which is right across the border from the state of Michigan. I very much want to believe the Cornhuskers will beat the Wolverines this week and break the woeful streak against ranked teams. However, my confidence in Nebraska's D-line is waning after watching the first 3 games. Please tell me I should stop being a Debbie Downer and have faith in the Big Red that the undersized D-line will pull this off. And then from Michael in Leroy, Michigan, where would you put the Michigan over-under for rushing yards? Am I crazy to be worried that they could go for 400 if things go bad? Yeah, things would have to go really bad. And then he says, "Go Big Reds." This is not a Michigan fan chiming in.
Yes, you are crazy. They're not running for 400 yards on Nebraska.
People are getting worried, Connor. Yeah. Like, we're getting late in the week, and I think that we've zeroed in on where the big concern is for Nebraska among its fans heading into this game.
Nebraska's D-line is undersized. There's no doubt about it, and there's no way around it. But there's also, more than just those 3 or 4 guys in the field. It takes a total defensive effort in order to do everything on the defensive side. So linebackers are really important in your ability to stop the run. The movements up front are important in your ability to stop the run. Covering in the backfield on passes are important in your ability to stop the run, right? So, like, I think it wouldn't be surprising to me if Michigan popped a couple of big runs in this game, because Nebraska is going to be stunting and twisting, and if they guess wrong, then they'll go. But I mean, they're not going to be running up and down the field all night long. In my opinion, I think Nebraska will take. If you think that, and I've heard that a little bit this week, Nebraska will probably take that personally. A lot of it is about edge and attitude. So yeah, I think Nebraska will hold up okay. Whatever that means, we'll see.
Nebraska's not huge up front. It doesn't have Nash Hutmacher and Ty Robinson, but take a look at Riley Van Poppel, Keona Davis, and Williams Winery, and tell me those guys are small. Like, you don't need to be overly worried about the size of Nebraska's D-line. Okay, when we come back, a great question from Matt about something that Matt Rhule referenced this week in a press conference. That's next. Right now, a word from Mazda. This is Mazda's Moving the Game Forward moment, brought to you by those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it. These moments do more than win. They push what's possible. They remind us to go the extra yard, to shift into that extra gear, to keep moving the game forward. I want to talk about one play that defined Nebraska's performance last week against Houston Christian. That was when TJ Lateef hit Cortez Mills in stride for a 62-yard touchdown pass in the second half. It's a moment that showed no matter the circumstances, Nebraska was set to keep moving forward, whether it was up by 7 points or 52. Connections like that touchdown keep fans and players alike moving forward, always chasing the next great moment. When you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning. And just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to every Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. And as summer winds down, there's something nice about getting back into a routine you love. That's why we're talking about Wayfair. Wayfair makes it easy to set yourself up for the season ahead. That would be fall or autumn. From bedding and linens to storage solutions for every room, Wayfair is your one-stop shop to refresh your home. Recently, I found myself having to outfit a college dorm room. Yeah, that was a couple of months ago. Not for myself, but for a child of mine. We had success shopping on Wayfair. It's convenient, easy to find the items that you want, deliveries fast and free. And now is the perfect time to get your home ready, whether that's organizing, upgrading workspace, or making weeknight dinners easier. Get organized, get refreshed, get back to the routine for way less. Head to Wayfair, WAYFAIR.com right now and shop all things home. That's Wayfair.com. Wayfair, every style, every home.
Welcome back. Connor Happer, Mitch Sherman with you here on this Friday pre-Michigan game. Back to your questions. Here is Matt in Elkhorn. Rhule brought up the biggest games he has attended. Yeah, Rhule mentioned he was at the Buckner game. And what was the other one that was before the Crawford?
The Tom Brady Super Bowl against the Falcons, where they were down 28-3. And Game 7, the game after the Buckner game.
Amazing. So what are yours? What are the biggest games you've ever attended? And Matt says, I was in attendance for the LSU walk-off at Rosenblatt over Miami, aka the Warren Morris game. I also found myself at Mizzou for the Matt Davison catch. I was in the opposite end zone, but I was there. And unfortunately, I was in Dallas for the 2009 Big 12 championship game 1 second. Mitch, any thoughts?
I don't know. Matt is like me. So I was also at all of those games.
Wow.
I know you probably were not. The age difference is coming in here. You were definitely not at the Warren Morris game, right?
No, that was
96.
I mean, I was alive, but I was not there.
Good. Yeah. I'm glad you were alive. I'm very glad you were alive.
I was 4.
Okay. Stop. But so I was there. I was an intern for the Omaha World Herald. I was in college during that game. That was my first College World Series in the press box. And I was standing behind home plate, like at the little gate at Rosenblatt, to go get on the field and write about that. So that was amazing. I was also on the field, on the sidelines, probably near Matt during the Matt Davison catch in 97. And we're just making up completely new ways to say Matt now. So I was there in Columbia for that. I got decked by a Missouri fan. Actually, it was the opposite. Like I had to throw a shoulder at a Missouri fan that was bearing down on me as we walked or ran onto the field in the total chaos of no one knowing if the game was over or if it was going to overtime or what just happened there when Matt Davison caught that ball. And I was there for the game at Jerry World. I would say for me, the best sporting event that I can remember in my life. So I was also at Game 7 of a World Series, and it was 1985, 1 year before Matt. You were not alive then. 1 year before Matt Rhule went to Game 7 and Game 6 of the 86 series. I was at Game 7 of the 85 series between the Royals and Cardinals. Won by the Royals here.
Like
11 to nothing.
The previous night. Yeah, they won.
No,
yeah,
I was crying in my parents' bedroom the previous night because I didn't think that I was going to go to Game 7 since the Royals were down a run in the ninth inning. Thank you, Don Denkinger. Yes.
Mine is easy. I feel like I answer the question the same way every time. It's the 2014 American League Wild Card game. It's the best game I will ever be at. It's the best game I've ever been at. It's the biggest game probably I've ever been at. Like I've never been to a Super Bowl or an NFL playoff game or a college football playoff game. So yeah, I mean that's my answer to like all that question I get all the time. That's my answer.
I was also at all three of that's an awesome one, by the way. Salvi down the line. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was also at all three of the national championship clinching bowl victories for Nebraska, 2 in Miami and 1 in Tempe, Arizona. And the best one of those undoubtedly was the Frazier Behringer game to finish up the 94 season, the Corey Schlesinger and all of that.
Bunch of great college basketball games, NCAA tournament games and stuff like that. But
Duke,
none of that.
Duke, Kansas at CHI comes to mind.
Kansas at CHI. That was awesome.
I was at that.
Yep. That's probably way up there, but yeah, nothing beats that wild card game.
That's amazing. Yeah, I was not there for that. Okay, from Dr. Rex in St. Charles, Missouri. I was interested to hear Coach Butler's explanation about how he coaches corners to play defense. I've always heard that it's an effective tactic for the quarterbacks to look off coverage before throwing to his intended receiver. But if Butler coaches his corners to just watch the receivers and not the quarterback, it seems they would be immune to such a tactic. This sounds smart, effective. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty normal, right? Coaches teaching their defensive backs to just follow along with their receiver. It's part of the reason why you don't see guys, turn around. Oftentimes when I'm watching football games with, a large group of people and a ball goes up and it's one-on-one coverage in the end zone, and it hits the receiver's back or it hits the defensive back's back or something like that, everyone will yell like in unison, "Turn around." Well, the reason they're not turning around is because they're guarding the person that they're guarding, and they can't hear anybody yell "ball," right? Like they don't know that the ball is coming. So I think this is normal.
If you're the absolute best, if you're Travis Hunter as a DB in college, or Deion Sanders, or so many Darrell Revis, I mean, the guys who are just at the top of their game, you do both. You watch the quarterback's eyes and you play your receiver. And that's where the interceptions come in, because you can go off of your man and make plays. So
cover first.
Yeah. All right. From Brendan, is there a school or team specifically that is not an obvious rival to Nebraska that you guys absolutely love to see lose? We kind of try to take that out of it, but I know Connor does hate Michigan. Personally, my irrational rival school is K-State. This is Brendan saying that. They could never win another game in any sport, and I would be happy. So I'm wondering if you have any irrational rivals and you have a reason why they are your pick. For me, this is more of a Major League Baseball thing, because that's where my passions lie as far as fandom. But
yeah, I hate when
I hate the White Sox
do good things.
The Tampa Bay Rays. What's that?
Yes.
Yeah, you hate them irrationally?
Yeah, I mean, who would rationally hate the Tampa Bay Rays?
Yeah, sure.
It's very irrational, because I don't like the way that they do business, and I think it's bad for baseball. And they purposefully, let their good players go, walk all the time. So I hate when they do good things. I loved when they were in the World Series a couple years ago, and their manager pulled their best pitcher in like the 5th inning because the analytics told him to. It was my favorite thing that's ever happened. I
wonder if Matt Cochero was behind that move somehow.
Yeah. Well, he would have been on the staff. So yeah.
I hate the White Sox. I hate the Cubs. I hate the Twins. I hate the Cleveland Guardians. Let's see. Tigers. I hate the Detroit Tigers. Not as much. I don't know. They don't. I hate them. I also hate the St. Louis Cardinals. So some of those are rational. Some of them are maybe irrational. Yeah. From Kyle in Bennington, Nebraska, longtime listener, first time emailer. Dylan Raiola has obviously been playing really well so far, efficient and lights out. But if Nebraska struggles to put enough points on the board against Michigan in the first half, do you see any scenario where Nebraska might bring in TJ Lateef to give the Wolverines a different look? He can sling it, but specifically his ability to scheme up something in the run game is intriguing. Yeah, that's the end. We have 3 questions along this line. So let's just take care of all of those at this moment. When we get to more questions about TJ, we're just going to answer them right here.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I will answer no.
No TJ. No TJ. Unless Dylan gets hurt. That's the only way Nebraska could get TJ Lateef in the game.
Correct. Why would you do that?
Well, sometimes they put Heinrich Harburg in at quarterback to run. They don't like to run Dylan. Like if it's a designed run, they don't love to do it.
Yeah, I don't. What's happened? What is happening? Why do people want to take Dylan Raiola off the field?
Because they have a weapon in TJ. It doesn't mean that he would be the new starting quarterback. I'm not totally discounting the idea that you could see it in a goal line situation or just something to really throw Michigan off. If they see him coming in the game, it's almost like they have to call a defensive timeout. Like it's almost like panic mode. Like what are they doing?
Oh, so you're saying like throw him out there like as a decoy, like as just
maybe he's a decoy.
Okay, sure, like whatever. But like,
no, you don't have to agree with me.
But if you're taking the guy that you have spent all this time talking about this week, how he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country, if you're taking him off the field and replacing him with a true freshman who's only played in garbage time against Houston Christian and Akron. I think that is stupid. That would be a bad idea.
I'll admit it could backfire. I bet they've discussed it in the football offices this week. I don't know that. Nobody's indicated that to me. I think the thought has probably crossed their mind. Could we do something to make the Nebraska offense more dynamic in a moment against a great defense when you're a team that's had some struggles inside the 10-yard line?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's go to break. And just it's just a possibility. Let's go to break, and we come back with a question from a place that we have never had a question come in. I'm excited to read this one from Vic coming up next.
Quick word from Square, your favorite neighborhood spots. They run on Square. There are certain businesses that truly make the neighborhood feel like home, whether it's the local sports bar packed on game days, the coffee shop that knows your order by heart, or the corner deli that's been serving your community for decades. These are the places that bring people together. When the neighborhood businesses thrive, the whole neighborhood thrives. Local spots in every neighborhood come alive every Sunday during football season and Saturday for that record. Everyone's in team colors. The energy is incredible, and it feels like the entire block is in there cheering together. So how about places in Lincoln on game day? These places are popping, like the Mill in Lincoln, 402 Creamery, the Cookie Company at Gateway Mall. They all use Square. It's the kind of place where you walk in and everyone knows your name. The staff like family, and they've been serving the community for years. Yes, maybe you'll go visit those places this weekend. And those places use Square. Square is a proud partner of more than 4 million neighborhood businesses around the world. You can go to square.com/go/lockedoncollege to learn more. But before you do, go support your favorite neighborhood spot. You'll be happy you did. Square, see you in the neighborhood. And yes, it's almost the weekend. It's time to look back again and recognize an MVP who delivered this week, powered by DoorDash. Just like you could win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving more every time you order. This guy delivered when it matters most. Let's break it down for Nebraska. Dylan Raiola delivered in a big way, threw for 222 yards in one half. That doesn't seem like a lot for a full game, but in one half, it's pretty good. When the pressure was on, he came through, no hesitation, no delay. And if you've been watching week after week, this, of course, was not a fluke. Dylan is on a streak. And just like Dylan delivered for Nebraska, DoorDash delivers for your Saturdays with DoorDash Streaks. You save every Saturday you order, stack it up all season long, and you could save up to $250, including $100 with DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo period through November 18th.
All right, final segment, Friday episode of the Locked On Nebraska podcast. Join us after the game at some point on Saturday night or Sunday, and we will be back with you to react to whatever it is that happens at Memorial Stadium. Okay, we will get back to the mailbag. I'm excited about this. Vic in Phuket, Thailand.
Good job.
He grew up in Lincoln. Yeah, you can mess up the name, the pronunciation of that.
Certainly
town.
looks like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've heard it said before. He is from Lincoln. This is his retirement home. Way to go, Vic. I enjoy watching the show. 1979 grad from UNL. I also caddied for Bob Devaney as a kid.
Wow.
So I have some great stories about Coach.
Oh, I bet.
My question is, what do you think the Huskers' record in the Big Ten will be? First of all, let's do this. Nathan is missing this week. He's been busy. We got that. That's from last week. And then here's our world map. Like this is our third now question from Southeast Asia. So we're going to get Thailand on the map next
Amazing.
week. Huskers Big Ten record. Well, I said Nebraska was going to go 8-4 this season. So that leaves me to say that their Big Ten record, if I continue to believe in that, is 5-4. I'll say it today, although I did pick Nebraska to win this game yesterday. I might be like contradicting myself here, but I'm going to wait until Nebraska actually wins the game on Saturday before I change my outlook for the entire season.
It's a great point, because if they win on Saturday, the conversation completely changes. It's about going to the playoff, or it's about, competing for a Big Ten title potentially. And it's at the very least a swing game coming up tomorrow. Yeah. So if you win one of those swing games, then all of a sudden people's win totals start going up. So I'd say, in the 5-4, 6-3, you could even convince me of 7-2 range. We'll address that in the Sunday postgame pod.
Yep. Okay, Adam in Colwich, Kansas had a question about TJ Lateef. He said, I'm not going full Frankie London over Scott Frost here, but he too is wondering if Nebraska might do that. We've already answered that question. From Josh. Hey guys, my son and I were traveling across Ireland the past couple of weeks. In one afternoon, we spent some time in a pub with a couple from Australia who were attempting to explain Aussie rules football. I said, since you guys follow the sport closely, are you familiar with Pro Kick and the players they send to the United States? They said they did know about Pro Kick, but they did not know about Archie Wilson. Blasphemy. I was pretty struck by this, but they did say they would look up the video of Archie. So maybe we created the new Archie and Nebraska fans. Also, we heard several Go Big Red chants in various towns as we traveled through the country and through England. I'm continually impressed with the number of fans we meet on every trip, GBR.
Yeah, if you Google Archie Wilson right now and you don't know about him, you might fall in love. You might say, wow, what a great story. Some reporter made him cry, and then he went on a month-long media tour. He also didn't punt during that time. It was great.
Yeah, he punted. He punted against Cincinnati.
Yeah, that's all.
1 of 3 games. Good. Yeah, I mean, look, Pro Kick is sent. You can know about Pro Kick and not know about Archie. There's a bunch of Pro Kick alums in the NFL and across college football. So he's not like the big star of Pro Kick yet. That day could be coming.
Could be.
From Vince.
Vince.
Yeah, go to Vince. Do you want to read Vince? Go ahead.
Yeah, let's go. Happy Friday, fellas. On the eve of Nebraska facing Michigan, I asked to which do you give more credence when a team beats a ranked opponent? They were ranked at the time they played them, or when they finished up their season? That's a good question.
Yeah, the way the stat works is where they were when you played them. That's why Nebraska's streak of losing to ranked opponents did not end last year when it beat Colorado, which finished the season in the poll. So I'll give credence to the way the stat actually works.
Yeah, I also think Nebraska. For example, Nebraska's last ranked win was against Oregon in 2016, and that team ended up going 4-8. But it's not necessarily about what they were at the end of the season. It's about what it means. And that felt like a big win at the time. It felt like a bit of a breakthrough for Mike Riley. And they carried that momentum all the way through, all the way into October before they lost in overtime to Wisconsin. So, I think it's important to beat name brand programs, and I think it's important to beat teams with little tiny numbers by them, and that Nebraska has a chance at both tomorrow.
Yep. I mean, teams can change a lot through the season. Mm-hmm. So I think you kind of have to base base the value of a win on where a team is when you actually play them. Okay, we're going to make it through this whole thing in decent time. So we've got a couple left, and they're of a similar subject matter. So let's start with Scott in Sioux City. Hey, gents, love the show. Listen every day. A non-Michigan question. Is Elijah Pritchett this year's Micah Mazuka? I don't want to give up on him. He's a freak talent, but it has not started as we hoped. I love the O-line, and Gunnar Gatula does deserve to start, but depth would be nice, and that's what Nebraska paid for. What say you? Does he have a path?
Oh, yeah, he's got a path. I mean, it's not a Mazuka situation, and it's just the things that are preventing them from getting on the field are a little bit different in nature, I guess. So absolutely, Micah Mazuka has a chance to earn playing time. He just has to be a more consistent player in practice. That's basically what we're dealing with here.
You got to kind of take the money conversation out of it. And I know that's hard to do when we hear Troy Dannon at the start of the season talking about how he's going to have conversations with coaches at the end of the year to determine how the ROI, what the return on investment was for players that they paid for out of the portal. And certainly Elijah Pritchett got paid a lot to come to Nebraska out of the portal. But at the end of the day, they have to play the best players. Like you can't, if there's something that goes wrong with a player, you can't make two wrongs don't make a right. So playing someone who hasn't earned it in practice is not the way to go just because they were paid a lot of money. Like these situations come up in the NFL, and you got to do what's best for the team's opportunity to win, and that's what they're doing right now. But no, it's not over for Pritchett. Like, he may end up starting half the season or more than half the season. We'll see. You know, injuries happen. Players turn it on and move up and move down in the eyes of the coaches. So this one from Austin in Kailua Kona, Hawaii. So there's a new state for us.
Wow.
We've had emails and questions from Alaska. We have not from Hawaii. So yeah, there's the world map that has Alaska, but Hawaii's like not really on that map. So we're going to have to,
it's too small. Doesn't register.
it doesn't exist according to that map, but
Okay. Whatever.
We'll have to figure that out. Nathan, we need you back. Austin says, with the large amounts of cash these young players receive, do you think we'll see more players lacking the motivation to take their game to the next level? Assuming that Pritchett signed a 7-figure deal with Alabama out of high school, I don't think he did, and another with Nebraska, yes, he did. He's got a couple million reasons to coast and stay at third string. Previously, guys like this would have weeded themselves out through the grind of unpaid college football. Now we pay these large amounts of cash and they can hang around and not produce.
Yeah, I mean, it's just about how guys are wired. I suppose that is possible. I don't know how Pritchett's wired in that regard. I think, I would hope that he's doing everything he can to earn it and make his way back onto the field. I suppose you could take that direction if you wanted to. It doesn't sound like a fun experience. It sounds actually really miserable. You know, I know you're making all that money, but it's not fun to. If you're a football player, which that's the reason you got into this in the first place, what do you want to do? You want to play football. So, yeah, it doesn't sound all that fun, even though your bank account would be growing.
I think we're kind of doing him a disservice by like suggesting that there's more money to be made in the NFL, much more money to be made in the NFL than whatever it is that he's made at Alabama and Nebraska. And he is intent on getting there. He wants to get to the NFL. He's not trying to be third string at Nebraska and just coast through this thing. Absolutely not. Okay. That's it. We made it through a mailbag show today with 17 questioners. So thank you for all of that. And we'll be back. The next time you hear from us, we'll be discussing the result of Nebraska, Michigan. So it is a big moment for us right here. And it's a big moment for Locked On. College football fans, Locked On and Fire TV present College Football Kickoff, your ultimate weekly preview show. Drake Toll, Gary Patterson, Jesse Holley, Locked On's college football experts. They have all got you covered in this show. Catch College Football Kickoff every Thursday through the season only on Fire TV.